All right, so for Yehoshua Periches, we're gonna go from Pasuk A to Pasuk Ches over here. We're gonna move a little bit today. So what we're talking about over here from the beginning is Yehoshua. He's circumcising all the Jews before entering into Israel. Pasuk says that he did so, and then Pasuk A continues, Kimulim hayu kolam hayoitzim. They were all circumcised, the nation that left. V'kol ha'am hayulodim b'midbar b'derech b'tzeisim b'mitzrayim lamalu. The entire nation that gave birth in the desert on the way when they left Egypt. They were uncircumcised. They weren't circumcised. So, in other words, all the people in the desert didn't have a milah. They were uncircumcised, and therefore they need to be circumcised before going into Israel. Ki arbaim shana halchu b'nai Yisrael b'midbar ad toim kol hagoy anshe macham hayoytz min Mitzrayim asher lo shama b'kol Hashem. For 40 years, the Jews were in the desert until the death or completion of the entire nation of the people of war who left from Egypt that didn't hear the voice of Hashem. In other words, they all died in the desert. Asher nishba Hashem lahem lebilti haroisam es haaretz asher nishba Hashem lavoisam lasis lanu eretz zavas chalav udvash. That Hashem made a shvuah, a vow, promise, not to show them the land. Asher nishba Hashem lavosam, that Hashem commanded them to give them their forefathers, to give them the land of flowing milk and honey. Bez b'neim hikim, and it was going to be that their children were going to be established tachtam instead of them. Oisam al Yehoshua, those people Yehoshua circumcised. Ki arelim hayu ki lo malu oisam aderech, because they were uncircumcised. They didn't have a circumcision on the way. Vahi kasher tamu kol agoy lihimo, and it was that when the entire nation completed the circumcision, vayeshu tachtam b'machana ad chayosim. The entire nation, when they were completed, when they were all done with their circumcision, so then they sat in the camp ad chayosim, literally until their life. Mitzuda says in Yon Refuah. This is an idea of healing. Until they were healed. They were there until they remain healed. Those are the psukim over there. Till they recovered, in other words. So what can we add to this? There's honestly not that much to add over here. Certainly not in the standard Mefarshim. Rashi just points out Ad chiyusim, until they were healed, min hamaka, from the wound. The article to the Sefer Yehoshua over here, the blue one. They quote the Be'er Moshe, who says that the people had to rest and recover over here. So we see that the psukim demonstrate that they had faith in Hashem. Even though that they arrived at Gilgal, they were very tired from the journey, and they were surrounded by enemies who could have attacked them while the sick and males were too ill to go into combat. Following the example of Yaakov's two sons who wiped out the city of Shechem after the circumcision, the Jews didn't hesitate. When they were told that it was God's will that they circumcise themselves, and they would do it in shifts so that there would always be healthy soldiers to defend the nation, they obeyed without delay. That's the Be'er Moshe's point. That he says over here. The Malm always has some interesting points. He discusses that it's very important for a father to either circumcise his son, or to hire a mohel to do so in his place. But he says it's equally very important that a father teaches their children Torah. If he doesn't, it's a disgrace. It's as if the child isn't even circumcised, so to say. People are going to say, look at how ignorant this child is. It's the father's fault for not teaching him Torah. So if they want to honor their father, they have to do their best to learn Torah that their father failed to teach them. They have to find themselves teachers and study diligently. And Hashem will certainly see their sincerity and their effort and give them success. They're going to remove their father's shame, just as the Jews did when they were circumcised by Yehoshua. It's not enough for a father to teach the children how to read Hebrew and daven. He has to continue to teach them till he could read and understand the whole Torah. Study the laws, the Shulchan Aruch, till he's fluent in all the laws and can keep them properly. He has to be able to study them on himself, learn them by himself. So when he's in doubt, he could find the answer. But the father's obligation doesn't end with that. He has to raise his children so that they're honest, serve Hashem faithfully, teach him to continue to learn Torah his entire life and try to prove himself. If his father does that, his sons will bring him honor in this world and the next. But if he fails to do this, he's going to be bringing himself shame. And his soul won't find rest in the next world because his son doesn't even say Kaddish and learn Torah in his honor. Not only that, he's punished for his son's sins. He's responsible for them because he didn't teach him to go in the right way. Then he says, how foolish are those fathers who value secular education over Torah? They take their children out of yeshiva before they learned enough. They just try to get them to work. They don't realize that the Torah is the foundation of life and will help them succeed in all other endeavors. Mara says that anyone who raises a son without teaching him Torah deserves to be excommunicated. This is deep. This is very important. Sincerely teach, don't be negligent. But a son whose father didn't teach him, the doors of the base medrash of the study hall, they're always open. It's his responsibility, if he wasn't taught Torah properly, to take that opportunity and go learn. If he does, he will learn merit for himself and remove the shame of his father for failing to educate him properly. So even if a father doesn't give his son merit by teaching him Torah, the son could still give his father merit by learning Torah himself. Certainly, the merit of a righteous father is a benefit to his sons for their whole lives, but the merit of a righteous son brings peace to his father in the world to come. That's the lesson. It's an important point. So next time we're going to be continuing and go into some deeper ideas. See you the next time.